Okay, we are here with our next stranger. Let me just ask you the question. What is your name? How did you meet me? And tell me a little about yourself.
Hi, my name's Evan. I met you on Omegle. I'm 18. I'm as an 18-year-old. I've have 3 years of construction under my belt, under the table work, and my goal has always been to have a studio and to get out of my basement and into building. Started business. I have people messaging me right now for offering money for services, and just start out like that. See how life goes. It's crazy.
Yeah. So what got you into? So whenever I came across you on Omegle, you were rapping or freestyling, and it was really
Mhm.
good. And so what kind of got you into that? What is it about that you enjoy?
So I got accustomed to music really comfortably. I've been in choir for 4 years now, and last year we went to Carnegie Hall stage and sang in New York. It was really
Dude,
nice.
that's amazing.
Uh, Dude, I know it was awesome. It's such a breathtaking moment to stand out on Carnegie. It really is. It's just like, wow, I'm actually here doing this. Like you don't even know that you're doing it either. It's just more of like such a feeling of like just take back breath. That's walking onto the stage.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm actually a professional actor, so I understand. I mean, I don't understand Carnegie
yeah,
Hall, but I understand the idea of going onto stage and the lights and like
yeah.
you know,
It was
taking.
we actually went. It was a school choir, but we went and we sang with two college professional choirs and then three other high school choirs. So it was about 200 people in total on the stage, and we sang under Dr. Linda Hassler, uh, collegiate at Capital uh, University,
Mhm.
uh, director, and she's amazing, awesome person.
So now you're looking to. Did you say you're looking to get into building or into like
Um,
architecture or?
so I've been doing construction for 3 years, and that's just more of like an undertable job.
Mhm.
But it's really shown me like the value of hard work. Getting
Mhm.
gravel on the side of the road, or going cutting down trees, or working in a farm for somebody, or ripping out drywall out of a house. And it's let me do all this. It's let me buy everything I want. It's let me get to this stage. I think I need a moving force to it. I need something to eventually move it. Like I just need like that's the hard thing about being a small business in America now is that you need a driving force to do so.
Oh, interesting.
100%.
Yeah, well, I'm also interested too, like, where in the country are you? Where in the US?
I'm in Ohio.
Oh, in Ohio. Okay.
Mhm.
And what has your education been like? Do you go to a like a pretty good school, public or private? What's the social scene like for you in your life right now?
Socially, uh, right now I'm building up a large social media platform, and that has just been ravaging recently. But socially, I hang out with friends every once in a while. COVID's obviously still a thing, so you gotta be safe with it. I don't know
Right.
though. I think that's the thing about COVID is, do you believe in COVID?
Yeah,
Actually,
this is a great question. Yeah, because I'm in Florida right now, and they're like these cases popping up like 10,000 a day and everything, blah blah blah. But you know, my s- but in the area that I'm in now, there are like 20,000 people, and only 400 people have COVID apparently. So that's like 2% of the population.
see,
I think that there are a lot. I think the test results often come out with a lot of false positive results,
mhm.
because they're erring on the side of caution. But I mean, I do think it exists, but I think it's been a little overblown, actually.
Yeah. See, I think what's crazy is I've seen how they test for it. they have to, if it's so contagious, why then do they have to stick a needle like down your nose, like to like they take this huge needle and they just shove it all down your nose, and it has to all like get all the way down there to test for it. Why is it so far back in if it's something that's so deadly?
Well, this is the so I've gotten the COVID test 3 times right now, at this point, and yeah, it's not a needle so much as like it's like a pipe cleaner actually,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah. Or like a
um,
pipe cleaner needle thing that just.
yeah, yeah, and I think some of my good friends have had it, and have had symptoms, and say that actually one of the symptoms is the loss of taste actually, and that's connected
Hmm.
to like a neurological thing. So I think that the pipe cleaner may actually like try to get at an infection like in the sinuses that's close to the brain, maybe. I mean, I don't know for sure, but that's kind of how I've been thinking of it.
I know last year, uh, my dad, he lost his taste for about, oh, I can't remember. I think it was like 2 weeks. He couldn't taste or smell anything. And this was in September of last year.
Hmm.
And none of the other family or none of my family got sick, or like anyone that was around him got sick because of it. And but what I think happened is that he got sick back then, and I think it was around back then too. I think there, who knows when the earliest cases went back to, but I think he had gotten it back then, and then it just made him immune to it. Like so, he's stronger and more developed now.
It would be interesting to see if he took an antibodies test. Did he test for COVID recently?
No, not recently.
It would actually that could be a good way to test that actually is if he checked out a COVID antibodies test, which means like that his immune system would have fought off COVID already, and would have then taken the antibodies as I mean that's what vaccines are, right? Is like anti like so yeah, maybe your dad should take the COVID antibodies test to see if he's right. Maybe you're right.
Maybe yeah, because yeah, our bodies already have those built-in antibodies. That's what you're saying, I think.
Hmm.
Is that yeah, those like things that uh wait, hold up. So our bodies create the antibodies for the virus. So if he has those antibodies in him already, that means that he would have at one point had to have the virus.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
exactly right. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm. Yeah, it
Got it.
may be worth checking out.
Mm.
So yeah, so what about your school? Tell like when like at school do you is that how you have been doing choir and or chorus or and everything?
Well, I mean, we haven't even went back. I was supposed to go back my senior year, but I was gonna get a work release anyways, go for choir. But now that Ohio had implemented the like all always have a face mask on during school, I think I'm just gonna get my GED and then just try to start out as a small business, see how that goes.
Hmm. Yeah.
Because nowadays it's so hard in America to start out as like a small business, just because of like there's so many new entrepreneurs trying so many new things, and that if there isn't enough demand for it in your area, it's almost like you immediately get swiped under the rug.
Hmm. Interesting. So, what is your approach? Like, what is your strategy? You think of how to
So
get this?
my strategy right now, the number one thing I'm focusing on is let's get myself heard, let's get myself seen, and then once I build myself a reputation, I think it will be easier to build my business a reputation, and then from my business I'll be able to then branch out to like these people that I need, like people in my town who maybe would sell me a building, people who would rent buildings, people who would want studio space, people who would want studios put in, and then do that all for them. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
help them with that. And as like a young business owner, I think it's just you have to have some. platform to share all of that on.
I see. So right now, so you're developing your strategy is to develop a strong social media presence to gain a
Hmm.
positive reputation for your business.
Exactly.
Very cool.
See, I think with all humans, I've always said this. When I in my future years, um, I'm definitely gonna spend. I want to be rich enough to where I can spend. And here's the thing: I hate money. I hate it. Money's the devil. It's evil. Money in itself is corrupt and evil. It,
Hmm,
it
interesting.
spawns it spawns a lot of evil shit happening in the world. Like that's half of the problems right now is money and big business, big corporations, government, money. That's all it is. And but I realized that once you have enough money, that you can really just take time to help others. So I think what some people do is they won't tell people that they want money, but but and they're good people, but they need money to sustain a life, to help people and to tell people about it,
Oh,
especially public figures who spend their whole life devoted to trying to tell other people that money is evil usually have the most money. And
oh, interesting.
that's just how, but they don't think about it that way. They think I'm doing this for good, I'm doing this as a good cause, and I'm of course I'm making money from doing it, but at the same time I know that if I didn't have the money I wouldn't be able to do this. So not only does money fund good, but that's what it's such a weird concept is that
Like a
money
paradox,
can,
right? Yeah.
money can fund goodness, but at the same time money in itself is a bad concept.
I see. I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I think I don't know if money is the root of all evil. I think that like because I agree with you. I think to be able to maximize the amount of good that you can do in the world, money is important. I think it depends as to how you acquire your money, right? Like
Mhm.
are you honest in the way?
Are you an
Yeah,
honest human? So people,
exactly.
that's the people I respect the most. People who make $120,000 a year because they've been swabbing shit off the side of the road and doing road construction or doing building houses, swabbing shit out of the toilets, reconnecting pipes. People like that. They have like internet people, power people. They just have my utmost respect. Literally, that's just they make a
Yeah.
steady living. They go home. They work a 9 to 5. They then they have whatever time they want
Yeah,
and they
they
get
have their
home.
family to come home to
Exactly.
and mhm.
Exactly. Those people I respect with a different level. I've
Yeah,
always
I and you know those people who are making even if they're making $200,000 a year,
hmm
$300,000 a year, you know, I have some friends who are doctors and who will be making that amount of money, and they have worked so hard to get to where they are, and they're doing things that are empowering other people, that are
exactly
encouraging other people to be
exactly.
better. And that's now there's a difference between someone who's making $300,000 a year versus $3 billion a year
Yeah.
and have almost too much money to spend, you know?
Yeah. So
For for me that
if
that gets me. Yeah.
if you're a Jeff Bezos or a Bill
Mm.
Gates, I respect you because you learned how to twist everything. You have learned how to bend. You have learned how to bend. You have spent enough time reading, researching, doing all that to successfully bend the world to your will. Because now you own so much that's not even funny. They basically built legal monopolies into the world, and
Yeah. They
it's
found every loophole. Yeah.
they have successfully found every loophole. And then now what you're doing, it can't even be placed on them anymore. It's going to be placed on the 20 to 30 people under them, and then the 30 to 20 people under the people who are already under him. Now you can't
Hmm.
even take it to the root anymore because the root has already spread and dug itself out. It's like a tree. So
Interesting.
you can't even link it back to the main problem anymore because there's just so many roots to the problem.
Yeah, I think,
And
yeah.
that's a crazy thing.
Well,
You know what
so,
pyramid scheme is, right?
yeah, but could you explain?
Okay. So let's say someone comes to you, sells you an item, then they keep doing that. Then they come to you and they ask, instead of me selling you items, how would you like to join my group? And then you sell items under me, but then you also get these items. So what they'll do, it's like drug trafficking, except it's legal drug trafficking of day-to-day items like shampoos or candles or something like that, or not Girl Scout cookies. Girl
Yeah.
Scout cookies are more of an organization, but it still is a good example of a pyramid scheme.
Mhm.
But I'd say the people who sell candles or soap or flowers or stuff like that, and then eventually, if you get enough people to sell under you, because think about that, once you're in the organization,
Yeah,
you
you're
can
just
sell to
reaping
someone
all
else.
of their
Yeah,
profits.
yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. Then you go to someone and you sell to them, and then you say, hey, why don't you sell under me? And then that chain just keeps going. Then you have thousands of people who are under another 1,000 people, and then you can't root it back to the source of the problem, but the company and the manufacturers. So it's just crazy to
Hmm.
think. It's so basically what I was thinking, if I wanted to run a successful pyramid scheme, how would I do so? I would have my business. I would get out of here. I would get as much money as I could in the shortest amount of time. I would open 6 other studios. I would then put managers under those studios, running those studios, pay the managers, get the managers to hire producers. Then the producers would bring in their own clients, charge a rate, hourly rate, and then even businesses are pyramid schemes. They charge an hourly rate. Then I would end up making the main amount of money from that without even having to be there or
Well, this is
working.
well, this is all interesting, right? And I guess my question to you is like, to what end?
Yeah,
Why?
exactly.
Like, what is the reason behind all of this? And and is it worth the energy?
Is money okay? So there's people who have taken the route of saying money's not worth it. I don't want money anymore. I think it's pointless, and I think it's only bringing bad energy into my life. And what they'll do is they'll retire. Let's use Jim Carrey.
Yeah, who
Uh,
I actually
oh,
have a poster of him right here.
exactly. I love him. Love the man. He was an amazing actor. Still is. He started as a comedian. Who I haven't looked into what he did before that. I only know that his first stand-up bit was on the Covert show, right? And some early the Covert show or whatever it is.
Yeah, maybe. I don't
But it
know.
was a comedy bit, and that's where he first got famous. Then he started doing movies. He had that one movie that it just changed his whole life. I forget which one it was, but it was like he was playing an actor who he aspired to be when he was a kid in a
Yeah, yeah.
movie
The
about the actor.
Man on the Moon is yeah, Man on the
Is that what?
Moon,
Yeah, man, he was
about
playing Man
Andy
on the Moon.
Kaufman.
Yeah, that's what it was. And he had realized that his life was slipping into Andy Kaufman's. He realized that he was basically living the same life as Andy Kaufman had.
Mhm.
So what happened is that caused a huge realization for him in his head. And then I think isn't he retired and he's in Hawaii right now, right? That's where he lives. I think I saw some documentary about that. He retired to Hawaii and he lives in like the middle of the forest with a bunch of animals or something. Which I'm just like, what an amazing story. What an amazing end to like
Yeah, what a
life. I would
journey,
love
right?
that. What a journey. I wish I could just live a life of someone I aspire to be in a movie about him, and then retire to living in a paradise
Yeah, being a
where I
hermit.
could be. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, to be able to, yeah, like build a business, like, realize that, okay, it's run its course. You retire and you just like do freestyle rapping until the end of your days.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Build a business,
like,
let it get as much money as I can gross in the shortest amount of time. Take a cut of it, put it away, buy myself a place, throw a studio in it,
This is
rap to the
this
end of my days, and then live
this
happily.
this is I think a lot of people have this perspective, and it's really hard to pull it off, right? Because like to be able to be successful in anything you do, you need to really be passionate. You actually really need to
Oh no, you
want
okay?
that.
So
You know what I mean?
okay, so there's three main things: patience, passion. So like being passionate, being patient, and then having the perspective. So you need to have the perspective that everything's going to work out, and then you need to have the passion. Like you need to be passionate enough to realize that if this is something you want to do for the rest of your life, that you're going to have to keep working towards that goal every single day until you don't even have to worry about it anymore because you know
So,
it's set for you.
so my question to you is, how do you know when you're passionate about something? How do you know for sure when you love something?
If you do something more than 3 times a day, if you if you go skateboarding more than 3 times a day, if you read a book than 3 times a day, if you sing, produce music, do whatever more than 3 times a day, you love doing that. It's something that you can just relax, go into a happy spot, find that place
Mhm.
in your head that you really just enjoy being at, and then like that's where you find what you're passionate about is when you're truly happy, when you're truly feeling alive, and at your best, and like at your most focused and intense moments in life. That's when you're the happiest,
Oh,
is what
that's
I
great.
found.
That's a great, yeah, that's a great kind of like guidepost to it, right? Are
Like,
your, oh yeah, go for it.
oh, like when you step out on the stage and you're like, let's say you're ready to act, you're out on the stage, or when I step out on stage, ready to sing, ready to have the most focus in my life for 45 minutes on a
Mm.
collegiate piece, or using your example, you're in the right headspace in the moment. Oh, my theater teacher uses this dude all the time. It's about being present in acting. Hoffman, or it's something
Oh,
Hoffman technique.
Philip Seymour Hoffman is the only. You have Uta Hagen, you have Meisner, you have
It's
Stanislavski.
Hoffman technique acting,
Hmm,
or
interesting.
I feel like it's a acting technique, but I forget what it's called.
But what does he say? What is the essence of it?
So let me try to remember. There's some. So she says that. So there's fire. All I remember like right now of the most of it is that there's certain things to it. So like you'll play music and then you'll try to envision what that music feels like. So let's say you're playing rock music and that feels like you're trying to pummel through like clay, like you're trying to swim through clay or move through clay. And what she would do is she would have us formulate our bodies to a way to where it would make us feel like we're like digging through clay. Like
Hmm.
we'd have to put tension onto ourselves to make it feel like we're digging through clay to move forward. Or she would say, water. We'd play a song that would remind us all of water, and then we'd flow and we'd move like it was water.
Hmm.
Or it'd be fire, and we'd have to be fast. Or it'd be air, and we'd have to feel like we're floating. Um, what else can I remember about this?
So what was it about all these things that resonated with you? Like why?
So, oh, I remember the beginning. So, like the way you start this like process is you start by rubbing your hands until you feel the heat, and then what you do is you envision like a ball of fire in your hands, and then you put it into right here, like into your chest, and then you feel that radiate from your hands because your hands tingle after you do that. And when you do that, you can feel it tingle on your body. And then what she said is try to feel that all the way down to your legs and then all the way down to like your feet, both of them, and then hold your head by a string to
Hmm.
make yourself feel like you're more upright and positioned correctly
Yeah.
and like present in the moment, always ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
absolutely, man. Yeah.
she's an amazing teacher. I really like her. She's an amazing teacher at my school. My choir conductor. We do warm ups every day. So the split between choir and theater, choir and singing is more more of a group thing. You take on, as an actor, you take on way more responsibility for yourself. And I feel like with acting, when you realize that you have such a responsibility on how you act and how you portray the character that you're doing, that you will run it and run it and run it. But when you're in a choir and the whole choir needs to practice something, I feel like some won't practice because they think that they don't need to implement the same technique as they would into acting. I feel like a lot of things can be seen that way in life, like a job. You need to see it as an act, or going in for your first business proposal. You need to see it as an act. You need to learn how to act to be successful in life, because you can't just be. I feel like a lot of life robs you of yourself until you become famous. I feel like if I became famous, I could be a more true practical version of myself without being so judged by the world.
So that's fascinating, Evan. So what is it about the world that you think is making you feel judged? Like, yeah, what is it that's really confining you? Why is fame or
Human.
fortune needed to be yourself?
Okay, so to be yourself, you take countless hours of meditating, of sitting every day thinking about what you want to look like, thinking about who you are, thinking about what your goal in this life is to do. And you sit about thinking about that forever and ever and ever. And eventually eventually you will become your truest self. You'll either learn that you don't want life to be this way, or that you want to continue with life being this way. So it's like it's like writing a book. If you write a book, you're able to put all your thoughts onto a page. And eventually, with enough pages and enough time put into a book, it becomes like like a readable book. Like eventually, page after page of writing down information that you want to on a page for other people to read. That's see, authors are the best meditators. Authors have learned that sitting and writing all day is their life. But beginner writers who don't have all the time in the world to sit and write are the ones who have a hard time being themselves and writing what they want to write. That's why when an author starts out, they aren't able to do as much as like a professional author can. I feel like it's a lot like that's why a lot of studios and a lot of singers aren't able to start out doing exactly what these professionals are doing, is because they don't have all the same stuff. They don't have all these millions of dollar things that these people pay for. And it's just not as easy. But I feel like with connections to people, you can recreate a version of what they're doing pretty successfully if you put enough time and devotion into it.
Huh. Huh. There's a lot of stuff. So in terms of your plan and what you're talking about, like is your family pretty supportive of it? Your mom and dad, you have a what's your
Um,
relationship like with them?
my father, he works road construction. I respect him a lot. He provides for us. Keeps food on the table. Keeps the outside of the house looking nice. I keep the downstairs nice. That's my job. Keep all this nice.
Yeah.
uh, and then he keeps the porch and the house and the roof steady. And he really likes music. He's a 1980s buff. If I went up and showed you all his stuff, he has like 2,000 CDs, these huge he's an equalizer. I forget what Serwin Vega. He has Serwin Vega, these just huge towering Serwin Vega amps upstairs
Wow.
that they just rumble the house if they're on. They're amazing. But he's not around a lot. But when he is, me and him usually hang out.
Hmm.
My mother, she works. She's like a nurse, but she does laundry at like an old people's place. So like an old
Cool.
person care rehabilitation place.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, she helps
yeah.
them. Yeah. That's
And I think I owe a lot to my dad. He showed me a lot about work, the ethic of work, the message of work. Because he literally he's either always working or he's always having a good time doing whatever he wants. And I think that because he used to be just a side road job working, but he was working with the company for about 25 years now. And I think he's like like the very like top like manager of the crew. He's crew manager, so basically he runs everything now. But I remember at one point when he said he would rather die than be the crew manager.
what do you
But
think
now he's the
changed?
crew manager. Yeah, exactly. Now things have changed, and now he's the crew manager working 3 weeks at a time, nonstop, 16 hours a day, 6 hours of sleep, right back to it. It's another 16 hours for 3 weeks at a time, and then he comes back home and just relaxes whatever money he made. I mean, he
Wow.
doesn't spend it. And the thing is women aren't as weird as people think. A woman is a necessity in a relationship. You need to
Interesting. So
have.
I'm interested in that switch, the switch of you went immediately
Mhm,
from like talking about your dad to women. Like
mhm.
what was it? What was that thought that made you switch to that?
Um, he's able to successfully grow his savings account, which I know a lot of people who struggle with this. Once they have money, they have a hard time saving it. They have a hard time putting it away for future dates. Recently, he's been trusting my mom or any woman, or actually I want to use my sister as an example. My sister dates my brother-in-law. He works in the Navy, and or not the Navy. He's in the Army. He's in the branch Army. Um, and they are stationed in Alaska. And she is a steady stay-at-home mom, but they live in a nice 4-story house that's all provided for them by the Army. And then she has successfully been able to save up, I think it's like $75,000 in who knows, like 3 years. So each month she's saving $5,000 with 4 kids and an Army like uh, salary. Like that's basically unheard of. Like he
Yeah.
will be able to retire by the time he's, I think they're 28, 29 right now. So by the time he's 35, he'll already be out of the Army doing, like, so he only has another 5 years. That's so crazy to think about. That I've always thought, what if I actually did just one day wake up and I was famous? Like, what if one day I put out a song, next day I wake up, I'm famous, I'm making tons of money. The first thing I would do, I would deck out my whole family. My whole family would get everything in the world. My sister would never have to. I would call my brother-in-law. I'd say, you quit the Army right now. You're a millionaire. You're never working again. I call my sister saying, I'm bringing you back to Ohio, or we're going somewhere,
Hmm.
or we're doing this. I want to hang out with you. Or I put my mom in a nice house so she would be able to do whatever. And then I do whatever with my dad, get him whatever he wanted. He's
Hmm.
always provided for me. I see it as a um I'm the return. So
Well, yeah. So do you have just is it one sister that you have?
I have a sister, and then I have a brother in the back who's basically Bill Gates, because all he does, he doesn't come out of his room uh unless it's to eat or drink. And he he started 4 months ago with a laptop, and in that time he's coded and made $1,200 in 4 months just off coding off a laptop. And he bought a $1,200 PC. So now who knows how much how much he's making, because his PC is almost as fast as mine now. Mine's a $1,500 PC, but he bought all the parts and he made it himself though. So who knows how nice his is.
Wow.
So let me take that and put it into consideration. A laptop is about 1,000 times slower than a PC, especially the one he was working with. So that means that if his power or if his brain is able to run and make $400 on something that runs 1,000 times slower than what he has now, he's probably making, even if his brain runs 0.5% as fast as the computer back there, he's probably making like $1,200 a day now, just sitting in the back coding. And I really would want to fund him and give him his own building, because he's just super, like, I know that with enough funding he would become like the next Jeff Bezos. Like, he just has, his whole life is a routine, you know what I mean? He just has a certain schedule he wakes up at. He knows how to place things. He has just certain things set out to do.
Yeah,
And
those schedules are so important for productivity. I wonder because I've been getting into a decent schedule, during the pandemic and everything, and
mhm.
I wonder, schedules and routines are really important to being
Yeah.
productive.
Not
But
only that, a schedule. Okay, so I have a lot of friends who are in a lot of relationships, and they're not always the best. I've realized why. They don't have a schedule. They are very loosely ran relationships. I think a
mm,
lot of relationships work in the future because there's a schedule. You know what I mean? They eventually learn each other's schedule, but I feel like relationships stop working when there is no schedule, or when there's not an easy way to communicate a schedule. Um, but I feel like relationships aren't really the best route to go while you're young. I don't think that you need to have multiple people. I think you need to focus. What I'm saying is, I think you need to focus on yourself while you're young. And then maybe when you're older and you need someone to keep you together, or you need someone to help you run a schedule or run a business, or just to be there for you and to make that connection with you and help you run a schedule, then you can be partners. I feel like that's what the difference between being in a relationship is and being partners. If you're partners, you're best friends. If you ever hear someone say, "Oh yeah, we're in a relationship," then that just means, okay, they maybe been dating for 5 months or so. But if you say, "Yeah, we're partners," that literally means they're best friends. They're going to be together for that. They've already thought about a lot of stuff, especially when they're older. If you hear like 22-year-olds say, "Yeah, we're partners," that means they've already dug themselves so much into each other's schedules that they're going to end up being in a long, steady relationship. But
what
if you hear someone when you're older say, "Yeah, me and him are just in a relationship," that usually means that their relationship isn't going to work for long.
do you think? What do you think are the pros and cons of having a partner at the age of 22, at that young age?
Ooh, okay. So women, bring it back to what I said earlier.
Okay.
You need a woman to help you with money. You women aren't just like a lot of dudes. I live in a very mixed Southern mixed just community. There's so much diversity where I live. It's just so crazy. But and a lot of the dudes I hear talk about women, they're just like, man, I don't need a girlfriend, or I don't want an actual girlfriend. I just want to fuck around and not have something steady. I'm like, I get that, but think about that reputation that gives you, and that reputation that gives women around this area. It's not effective. It's not. And and the thing is these people, after they do this, they end up feeling like shit about it. Like
Hmm.
they'll tell someone that they end up feeling like shit because of it. I feel like yeah, you can obviously have like open relationship, do whatever you want, and like just be with whoever you want, like try to make yourself happy, but eventually at one point in your life you're going to have to settle down, or you're going to have to find someone. And if you don't do it early on, if you don't prioritize on finding the one early on, and you just prioritize on fucking around as much as you can early on, then you're going to get screwed over in the long end.
Mm.
So but women are definitely, they're definitely better with money than men. I know a lot of dudes who they'll get money and then they'll spend it like that. They won't even hesitate. They'll get a $400 paycheck and by tomorrow it'll be gone. But women, what they do is they take that money, they put it in a savings account. They then fund you to let you live and to let you think about life, and like let you morally pick and choose and then schedule out what you both want. So there's wants and then there's needs. A woman is going to prioritize needs in a relationship over wants. A man might want something, but it doesn't mean exactly that the better of the two will need it, or that you even need it then or want it then.
I have just like two more questions for you. It's an interesting perspective that you have. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts of you were talking about like diversity and everything, and have you talked to many people, or what is your perspective of the Black Lives Matter
On the mo-
protests these days,
okay.
and also like you say that you come from a diverse background. Like, what do your friends have to say about it, and yeah, what's your point of view?
Um, I love the movement, and I love the I love the I love the idea behind the movement, and I encourage it. So brash, but I don't think the looting and all of that should be coming from. I think what we should do is we should defund the tanks and the gas and all the strong equipment from the police. That's what I believe when I hear defund the police. But
Like
but
demilitarize, I guess.
demilitarize the police. But what I think we should do is I was listening to Joe Rogan. I think that all cops should have to go and be at least a purple belt in judo or jujitsu, because it's 3 years of training to even get there. And then think about this. Let's say you're a cop. You're in a situation. Would you rather have a cop? My bad. Would you rather have a cop that knows what he's doing in a situation? So let's say a man is being violent, and there's a cop. Would you rather have a cop that knows how to handle the situation without killing the person because he went through jujitsu, or do you rather have someone who's militarized, has guns, has whatever they need to just be ruthless and be as mean and as fucking as corrupt as they want, or should we train them to be a certain way? And to know how to act in a situation of crisis is what is the most important part about how our police force should act. To know how to respond to a certain event.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
an event that's happening very quickly to them, and I guess playing devil's advocate, I'm wondering like a, an opinion could be like, well, why should we try to fund? Why should we try to make cops better fighters if at their hearts they're racist and will use that to maybe hurt unarmed black people even more? Do you have any thought on that?
So I've been reading a lot of news, and I think it's not even it's not even a race thing at this point. I think all police are just awful. So obviously the government and the systematic way that we have approached this situation is awful. We have not put the right amount of time and thought into how we should have reacted to this when it started. And we only made things worse. What I think should have been done as soon as this started was all police should have been recalled back. We shouldn't have been inciting violence. I think all police should have just started to lay low. then the government should have slowly started demilitarizing the police. And then I think that police should have started slowly been getting trained in jujitsu, slowly been getting trained in wrestling, grappling, learning how to properly handle situations.
Hmm.
Um,
Interesting. Um, so, what are your thoughts on how our president has been handling these situations, and
I don't know
if
did I already say this? We have a role idol. Or did I already say this? We have an idol president. He was at one point an idol. Like, what was that TV show that he was on?
oh like The Apprentice.
The Apprentice. Dude, he's literally an idol president. That's so stupid. Why? You know who I think should be president? I think Dwayne The Rock Johnson, unironically, should be president. This is why. Every morning he has podcasts where he just, or not even a podcast. It's literally just him and his phone or him and his camera. He just clicks start, starts streaming to thousands of people and talks to them every morning about how his day's going, how he thinks. It's more of like what is it? Like a JFK radio type deal.
Hmm.
You know how John F. Kennedy, he would start out his mornings by doing like a morning broadcasting, or maybe a night. It was a night broadcasting where
I didn't know that.
he would address the people every night with a radio signal where he would just talk to them and tell them his thoughts about how his day went.
That's amazing. Like, why isn't that
But
happening?
think
Yeah.
think about if that happened with our president now. If for 30 minutes a night he just went live and he talked about the day, he talked about what proposals he did, he got feedback from it, he got feedback from people who want to give him feedback on how the people are living and how we're struggling. If he heard about it, if he knew how some people were struggling, maybe that would help him enforce different rules. But we don't have that communication. There's a communication error because right now the president doesn't give two shits about running a government. He wants to put it into corporations to make the most amount of money. And not only it was a switch in the Democratic and the Republic. The Democratic happened later, but they realized that if they have a Democrat in business, they're going to be able to fund more money into corporation for Democratic candidates. And if a Republican is in business, he's going to be able to fund more corporations that are on the Republican side. And that is
So,
what's happening.
so in no when November comes around, what do you think you'll do? How will you vote?
I honestly, I think if Trump's elected again, really bad shit's about to start happening in America. I really do. I'm kind of scared. That's been a really bad thought on the back of my head is what happens if Trump gets elected again and the people are not happy about it. I know if Joe Biden gets elected, that's not going to cut it either. I think the whole thing's a loss right now. We need to take time to consider a different route, different way to do it.
So right now you're considering not voting for either of those candidates.
Yeah, I would not vote for either. I think both parties are corrupt, ran by pedophiles whose only goal is to keep the money in their corporations. It's
Dude, yeah, man, I agree. Both parties are corrupt. We need to pass anti-corruption legislation. This is going to be my shout out to Represent Us, which is the anti-corruption organization that I've canvassed for, and I think that yeah, we need the two-party system just is destroying everything.
yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
we need to build other
Wasn't it George?
parties.
Wasn't it George Washington who said that we
Yeah,
shouldn't have split into two parties? He literally
yeah,
even said that. The first president of the United States said, "Do not split into two parties because it's only going to bring havoc."
yeah,
When we did.
yeah. Evan, do you have any other last thoughts before we get going?
Um, don't let society dictate how you live. Try to be the best version of yourself always.
Very cool, man. All right. So this is what I'll do. I will exit out of here. I will upload it onto YouTube, and I'll send you the link. It should
All
be
right.
up in the next 15 to 20 minutes.
All right, bet.
Dude, it was awesome
All
talking
right.
to you, man. Thank you so
Well, it's
much.
amazing. Hey, if you ever want to do another podcast, and then I'm getting quite a following. I think I've recently Snapchat and TikTok have been my two biggest followings. But like, if you ever just want to do this like as an event or as a thing where we just talk every day, you know what I
Wouldn't that be
mean?
great? Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
every once in a while,
Or
definitely.
yeah, every other
Yeah.
week. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you could, yeah, I would love to, if you could share this with your group. And
Hmm.
I think together, if we just talk, by
Exactly. It
together, I mean,
together is as a collective of the society, start talking, start doing types of shows like these, and then getting people and developed and wrapped into them, then we can start to have more of an open conversation with each other.
yes, Evan, yes, 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 exactly. So, subscribe to my channel. I'll send you the link. Share the
I think I already did.
video, and dude, it was a blast, and I can't wait to do it again.
All right.
Hey, I'll see you later. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Peace out.
Bye.